Hello, and welcome back to a fantastic video. In this section, we are going to be looking at how specific documents that were created by previous governments and previous people have influenced the American government. So let's get to it. First of all, two big themes that are really prevalent or can really be seen throughout all of these documents that we're going to be talking about are limited government and representative government. Okay, so limited government is going to be the easiest definition that you will ever have in your whole life. Okay. Limited government is government that is limited in power. That's it. Government that's limited. Okay. And then representative government is a system in which people are represented in their government. Okay. So representative government, the people, the citizens are represented somehow in their government. And those were two things that our founding fathers really wanted to make sure was like woven in to our American government. So the first document we want to talk about is the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta, that is a Latin phrase, and it means Great Charter. So the Magna Carta was signed in 1215, and it was signed by King John. And in class, I'll talk about Robin Hood. Remind me. So King John he was known as not really the best kind of king. He didn't really care too much about the people of Great Britain. So he was actually forced to sign this document. His nobles held him at sword point and said, look, you either sign this or we kill you. So King John signed this document, and it was the first document to actually limit the power of a monarch. It said you can't do whatever you want to do. Okay, you work for us. We don't work for you, that kind of thing. The second document is the Petition of Right, and this was signed in 1628 by Charles I. And Charles I is really well known for having a tense relationship at best with Parliament and with the British people. So he also was forced to sign this document. And it was a document that prevented him from acting without the consent of Parliament. So if the king wanted to raise taxes, great. Fine, you've got to go through Parliament. Parliament, acting as a representative of the people, has to approve that decision. Let's get that out of the way. There we go. Okay, so the next one we want to look at is the English Bill of Rights. And the English Bill of Rights was signed in 1688 by King William and Queen Mary. And they also signed this document, essentially limiting their own power. Okay, and this, in addition to limiting the power of the monarch, also protected specific rights of the people. Okay, now the rights of the people that are listed here are protected from the government. Okay, which is kind of a weird twist. So basically saying that the government cannot impose cruel and unusual punishments on the people. They cannot charge excessive fines. Okay, so this is an important document because it specifically it stabilizes and protects rights of the people the government cannot take away. Okay, so those are those three documents. Now we're going to move into a couple of other early examples that American government has kind of been based upon. So the first one is Hammurabi's Code. And you probably have learned about Hammurabi's Code in another class, but this is important because this is the first system of written laws. Okay, it was a codified system, and it was strict justice is what it was based on. This is where we get the eye for an eye thing. Okay, so Hammurabi's Code was important. It was a good example because it was something that applied to everybody. It didn't just apply to people in one area of a kingdom or one group of people. It applied to everybody. Okay, Athenian democracy. We know that ancient Athens is the birthplace of democracy, and the democracy that they would have used was direct democracy. But the idea that people should have a say in what goes on in their government comes to us from ancient Athens. Roman representation. We have this idea that just because you're a person, you should be represented. If you're a citizen in a country, then you should be represented somehow in your government. That concept of a republic that we know and love today comes to us from Rome. We also have the Mayflower Compact, which was the first document that was it was signed aboard the Mayflower, hence the name, and it showed that the people were willingly coming together to form a representative government to protect their rights. And the last example here is from the Virginia House of Burgesses, and this was actually a part of their legislative body that was created all the way back in the 1600s that again gave people a chance to be represented in their government. So I will stop there. If you have any questions, let me